Hi, folks. Fake or fair dinkum. For many years, I thought I was fake. And what I mean by that, there's an inferiority complex that I have, and perhaps other people, well, I know other people have, perhaps you have. And it manifests in a way that we think we're faking it. So we think that we aren't achieving what we're actually achieving. In my case, I taught music for many years, and I thought, nah, I'm not a teacher. I'm not a person who can teach these kids, these people well. And I thought, if they ever find out that I was a fake, that I'd be in trouble. However, this is not the case. I actually did achieve quite a lot in that time, and I should be proud of it. But going through that, you think that you're false. And I thought that everything I did was false. And so it's quite difficult to become inspired when everything that you do makes you think that you're fake. It's quite easy, I think, to inspire others, especially when you've gone through a bit and you've come out the other side and somehow okay, as they say. But the reality is that it's quite another thing to inspire yourself, especially when you think that you're a fake. So what do? How do you become fair dinkum? How do you make yourself feel that you're genuine? Well, there's the trick, isn't it? Think of two railway lines and think that one is the real world. In other words, it's what is actually happening at a time. The other one is what you think is happening. So, for example, in my case, apparently I was a pretty good teacher. Apparently, kids learnt and were inspired from me. What I thought was that if anybody finds out the reality, I'm actually no good, then I would be in trouble. That led to any suggestion that was given to me, even a criticism, because let's face it, everybody gets criticized for something. Anything like that absolutely ripped my heart apart and ripped my confidence apart, because it was as though they found out the reality of who I was and the reality of my skills, which, again, I thought weren't that great. So on one hand, it is what the truth is, and the other hand, it's what I thought the truth was. Now, come on. I absolutely know that there's people watching this that have the same feeling. And they ask themselves, well, how did I get here? What, people being just learning from me, even though I'm fake. It's difficult, isn't it? This evening, I hooked up a CD writer, a DVD writer to my Mac Mini, and I thought, I'm going to go over some of the old CDs that I'd made throughout the years with my students' work on. And I came across one CD. It's actually this one here, Hot Puree. And that was done, 2008. And one of the big highlights of 2008 was that I had the previous year, 2007, I'd been invited to Aorere College to record a concert that they were doing at the end of the year. One of the performers was an amazing opera singer. I won't mention her name because she might be recording now, and I don't want link to her necessarily. We got there, so I took my my ex-wife's, she wasn't my ex-wife there, her daughter Tessa along to help me. We got there, I think it was only 5 or 10 minutes before the concert was to start because we had got the time wrong. So instead of being able to set up all our recording equipment and our sound equipment, I quickly had to set up a computer. I had a couple of mics and I managed to push them on stage. And that was it. I didn't have time to do any sound checks. I didn't have time to put a mic in front of the performer. I didn't have any time to set levels, nothing like that. I literally had 2 to 3 minutes, and that was it, before the concert started. And they were not going to delay the concert, just to shove these microphones on stage where I thought the performers were going to be. And I thought, well, okay, the first half, we'll see how it goes, But the second half, I'll use the break to make sure everything's right. Well, blow me down. I think it was the first or second act was this opera singer. They had piano. They had 2 singers. One was singing the lead part on a song called Piasu, and the other one was singing the backup part. The song was mesmerizing. We got it down on computer, and then I went away after the concert, and we got quite a few tracks down to listen to what was recorded. And to say it was terrible was an understatement. The levels were all over the place. There was distortion. There was, it was just horrible. The voices were right in the background. The piano could hardly be heard. It was picked up. There were 2 microphones, literally, and the one microphone picked up the lead singer. The other microphone was picking up the backup singer and the piano, and they were all mixed up between the mics. I thought, how on earth am I going to get this down to a track? And again, I thought it was my fault because I'm a fake. I can't do this. So I went away. I spent hours upon hours upon hours trying to sort the mess that we had into something that you could listen to. And the pressure was on because this concert was done by music students of the college, and a lot of their grades and their end of year work, it was judged on this concert. So I knew that I had to make this sound palatable at the very least. I used every technique that I knew to extract the various sounds. So extract the piano, extract the backup singer, extract the main or the lead vocals. I was able to somehow extract them. The distortion was more difficult because with distortion, the wave, if you like, goes up, and then there's a little blip at the top, it goes back down again. So I had to manually get all those little blips out. It was only for a short time, I think, for about a second or so, but still a second is a long time when you got all these little blips. And then I had to add effects and put them all back together after mixing it and get the levels right. I think on that one track, I spent probably 14, 15 hours. Anyhow, at the end of it, I was satisfied, but I was annoyed at myself for not making sure I was there early, even though the time was a mix-up, and getting ready to set up. Overall, I was semi-pleased with the work that I'd been able to extract out. And I hadn't listened to that song, so it was done in 2008. 2007, sorry. I hadn't listened to that for a long time, a long time. When I plugged the CD reader into my computer, lo and behold, the CD that was in it contained this song. So I listened to quite a few of the songs that were there, and I thought, hey, not too bad. And then Chatteris came up. And it just hit me like a ton of bricks. The quality that I heard in this recording after such a long time of not hearing it, I couldn't believe. And then I remembered how it was done and the effort that was put into it, and the result seemed even better. I'll attach it to this post, or maybe another post, but it got me to thinking, well, actually, you weren't that bad. You knew what you were doing. And again, I was reminded of this train track that at the time I thought I was a fake. But actually, I wasn't that bad. I was pretty good. I first got into music tuition as a drum teacher back in 2003. Sharon, my partner at the time, and my wife, my ex-wife now, she asked me to come up to her school, Churchill Park, and meet with the music person up there, which was Mark Dennison. And Mark's very well known around the music circles. And he just asked me a couple of questions about reading music and drumming. And he said, yeah, you go ahead and teach. And that happened in 2003. So it wasn't long after that this recording occurred. I hadn't done a lot of production work before that, a little bit, because I started to record students' work and use Cubase, and I taught myself Cubase. I knew the basics of production, of course, because we had been involved with that back in the old punk days. Mind you, the production was a bit different, but it seemed pretty logical to me. Well, over the years, I was in music. I recorded, I think it was about 13 or 14 albums. This one, Pop Curie, is a single album. It's got, gosh, how many tracks? 38 tracks. That's a lot of tracks. And when I'm reading some of the names here, I'm seeing that, you know, some of these kids, as they were back then, have gone on to be remarkable musicians. One boy in particular, William Edia, he may be listening to this or looking at this. He and his parents and his family are good friends of mine now. William would be 23, 24, I think. And the Eadie family are inspirational. Olivia, if you're watching this, you know, you guys are all inspirational. He was, I think, 6 or 7. He had a learning issue, but to hear this song, which is, I think, his second song that he recorded with me, is remarkable. And knowing how far he's come and what he's doing now, and you know, his work and his just his beautiful smile is quite remarkable. And he still talks about the recording that we did. So there's just a couple. Here I was thinking that I was a fake, having this massive inferiority complex by going along just one track. But in the meantime, there were so many other people that liked what I was doing and knew that I wasn't a fake. But it took years and years and years before I agreed with them. So what do we do about it now? Many, many people suffer from this. And I'm not telling you that it's easy to get over. But what I am saying is that there's parallel lines. What you think you like is very different from what these people see. And that can work in reverse, of course, but I guarantee that your talents are often seen from other people's point of view as being more than what you see. Because everybody has a talent. Everybody has creative talent. And I believe it's a fundamental human right to have that talent exposed and heard. Anyhow, there's a lot to think about there. It's another live cross. Excuse the creaking chair, I must get oil on that. Hope this has spoken to you. If you've got suggestions, ideas, got any issues, please let me know. And don't forget, look after yourself. Because if you look after yourself, you can look after others. Looking after yourself first is the life jacket rule. Put on your own life jacket before you can put on anybody else's. With that thought, it's Pete, and I'm signing out by saying, shh.